Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I think so. It's coming, I think.
Meeting is now streaming live on Facebook.
Oh, it is. All right. So,
Got it to work. I don't know how you did that, but
all right, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to click back to you over at Zoom so I can see you. And we're just going to talk normally.
awesome.
All right. So, hello, my friends. How are you? I am here today with a very special guest. And my special guest is my niece, Kayla Lanagan. And I asked her to come with us and join us today because of a few reasons. Number one is that she is just, I don't know, she's just the bomb. She is, I have no, of course, I've known her since she was born, but in her life, she's just done some things that I think are really cool. You know, she was a very active student at Bishop Stang, and she later coached, and she coached my daughter. And just seeing her in that moment of how she just touched all of those girls' lives, and just was so like on their level, and yet, such a powerful example for them. I jokingly have always called her Jesus because I just think she's so amazing. And she has gone on to do some cool things. And as it turns out, she just spent the last year as a guidance counselor in New Hampshire. And she also has two other things that I just want to tell you about, which we'll talk about. Is she is a photographer, and the name of her company is Babel Photos. Is that right?
Yes, it is. Yes.
And named after her sweet dog, Babel. Anyways, welcome, Kayla.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. This is a perfect way to start the morning for sure.
Yeah. So Kayla. So the reason I asked Kayla to come today is because we have been talking about what's going on in our world today. And one of the things I started noticing with Kayla is that she is, and you've been very active on social with your photography. And tell me what you've been doing on social lately.
Yeah, so I think with the current movement of Black Lives Matter movement, and with I would say my generation in general, there's been a massive influx of social media usage, conversations, and posts and resources, and it's very overwhelming the amount of I guess stimulation we're all seeing online. So I've definitely been trying to immerse myself in knowledge and education, but what I've been finding is there's so many conversations happening online because we're all stuck at home. So I kind of have noticed that and reflected on that a little bit. I don't know if you want me to jump into it yet, but that's kind of what I've observed over the past month or so is just how many conversations are happening through a texting chain.
All right. Awesome. So how old are you?
I am 26. I had to think about that for a minute.
Ha!
Well,
So
even 26.
Kayla is 26. So she is, as I say, she's a college graduate. She's been a guidance counselor. She's a photographer. And again, a total huge, beautiful soul, which is what I see when I see you. And so as she has been growing her photography business, and I think that we talked about this yesterday, that we're both introverts, right? So as she's been growing it, she's been sharing and what I've been seeing is like the beauty in life, and just finding these moments and she's done some photography for us at Bold and also for me. And she captures like these moments, and it's like that, like today is touch day, right? So it's like finding that way to touch with a person and just kind of create these beautiful photos. So you guys should go check it out at Babel Photos. Anyway, the thing about it though is I've seen this intensity of introspection the last few months, and again, you've been spending a lot of time alone up in the mountains of New Hampshire with her dog while she's teaching
literally,
from home.
quite literally.
Yeah, but I've noticed like this depth of spirit, I guess. So the last couple of weeks she has been, and again, you can see by looking at her how absolutely gorgeous she is. She's been getting ready to, because of all the things she just talked about, like this communication thing, this education thing, this need for family communication or whatever.
Yep.
She has started this new initiative, and this is really what triggered me to call on her to talk with us today. So tell us what you've been doing.
Yeah, I think to start off, I definitely do not think I know everything. Actually, the whole point is that I know very little. So I'm not trying to be on my high horse at all. But what I've been finding, I think, is just a claustrophobia to all the conversations I'm seeing online. And
Yeah.
I've been part of them too, where they ping pong and then they stop because they don't reach a certain level of depth. And then neither person is learning anything
Yeah.
except that they want to prove the other person wrong. So I think a challenge to myself was to start talking. And obviously I can't talk to everybody right now because we're practicing safe measures. So I thought to myself, kind of like you, honestly, and I'm sure you crept up into my brain when this like internal challenge happened, was what if I were to post videos every week about my takeaways from my family conversations that we have every week. So we're going to have conversations on Thursdays about a book that we're choosing to read as a family, not as our sole resource, but just, as an opportunity to grow together. And on Fridays, I just want to talk about it out loud on Facebook in hopes that maybe someone calls me up after. And honestly, that's happened. My friends and I have been talking on the phone about things that have been going on, friends with very varied stances and beliefs. And I can't tell you how humbling it is to have an hour-long conversation with a friend that you were terrified to talk to before because you've been seeing what everyone's posting online, and you don't want to lose that friendship, and you don't want to, stir the pot, if you will. But I've really been trying to challenge myself to get uncomfortable and pick up the phone. And I think that's starting with my Friday videos.
Right. So I loved her video on Friday where she was sitting there and she's like, okay, she's got like a little messy bun going and she's like going, okay, this is my first one. And she's talking through how she's got to communicate. It's about getting, like physical contact, talking to people, like opening communications, and then later going and letting us know, like almost like the takeaways and doing this video, right? And it was so funny because she's doing it. And again, she seems so calm. And then she's going, birds, can you hear the birds? And I just started laughing. I'm like,
right next
because when you're in the spot of being on a live video, it's harder than it looks. And it's like you're sitting there and you go, oh my God, like, will the birds stop? And I cracked up because I said, I so get that. And the fact that you're putting yourself out there in this discomfort, right? So you're like, there's a military term called embracing the suck, right? Which is I'm embracing the suck. I am sitting in my pain for this big, larger good, and I'm putting myself out there, even though I don't want to, but I really want to start using my powers for good,
Exactly.
And so that is awesome. And so share with us a little bit about like the book you chose and how you chose it, and hopefully just opening conversation and opening communication, to the people who will be watching this.
Honestly, I think everyone has a different role with any movement at any point in history. And I think I just feel, and I try to be a mindful person. We talked about that a little bit. I'm not always so, but I do try to. So I've just felt that like my primary role right now is to communicate and have the tough conversations. So with that lens, there was, a bunch of different resources that my family kind of looked through, but there was this one book called White Fragility: Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Race and Racism. And there's many resources out there. That should not be the only one, but I think we chose that one because it's really hard, and it has been hard for me too. And I'm 26 years old, so there's something wrong there if I'm 26 and I haven't been having really challenging conversations about race and racism in our country. So there's something not right there. So I think really the amount of like historical context and research-based context, it was really important for us to dive into that because we've kind of failed ourselves by not educating ourselves up until this point. But we're at least doing it now together and reflecting on it every week, which I think is huge because we're gonna talk every week on Zoom. And we had our first one, and it was very, very humbling. And I'm learning a lot from my family too. So I don't know if you want me to talk about the book at all or what I'm finding, but that's kind of our experience so far. We did just get started.
Yeah, well, first of all, they can tune into you and they can watch them on and we'll put that in the notes on how to find that so they can follow that, because I think that is really cool. I think that the thing that I loved the most about this was the communicating, like what I always call forced communication, which is I'm going to commit to communicate about this with this person, and how in doing that is that it's not going to be by text. One of the things, like, and again, you are a huge powerful example to my family and my girls in particular, and they look up to you. They look up to your sister. They look up to your mother, your father, your brother. Like they just they just so inspired by you. So, and the books that you put together for your reading list, they're going through, right? And because you're kind of come from a similar situation that my kids did, and that you went to a private elementary school, right? Onto Bishop Stang, onto St. Anselm's. So your exposure, just like my kids, was very minimal, and the thing is that we we think that our kids are going to just, while we are providing this life for them, what we don't realize is that we're sheltering them and we are not exposing them to the world, and going on a vacation, right, is not exposing them to the world, right? Having like, I said that, I think that honestly, well, it's off topic, so we won't go there, but so the idea being the communication. So and doing the live video and just saying to your community, like, okay, I'm uncomfortable, right? I know that, but I feel like it's important and I feel like I can contribute, and I just love that, so what do you feel like? What are your feels right now?
First of all, thank you for that. I feel the same about you. Like I said, I think your model kind of crept into my subconscious when I was reflecting on what I can do while I'm home and just sitting here. What I will say is that the conversations I have had with people on the phone and in person, they're really incredible and they're really raw and authentic. And I think a huge part of the authenticity is because both people are agreeing, hey, I'm going to respect you, but I also don't want you to hold back and I don't want you to say what you think I want to hear. I've talked to people that I definitely disagree with, and you're sweating during the conversation.
Oh my God, I know, right?
Oh, massively. But they've been incredible. And no, we don't end with like a pretty bow on things, but we actually, like, I had a phone call last night. And again, I'm not tooting my own horn by any stretch, but we ended with, okay, it's been like an hour. We both need to eat dinner and like go see our significant others and our family members. Let's pick this up. Love you. Because I think we agree on the basics, essentials of humanity and of everyone being deserving of that. And somewhere in the middle, we definitely have disagreements, but again, we need to learn how to disagree. I was not really taught how to disagree. I was taught, we all have differences and, Godspeed on your way, but we never really learned how to push through that wall and actually like dive into the disagreements. Yeah. But I guess I'm glad that we're doing it now because it's definitely better late than never. But so far it's been pretty amazing.
That's awesome. So anyway, I told you it was going to be 5 minutes and I've already kept you like.
It's okay. I'm having a blast. I love starting.
I know, it just felt great. So I just love it, Kayla, and I support you and I support what you're doing. And I think it's so true. Like we need, one of my friends, just the same thing, like almost apologetically, like if someone feels like they're doing what they feel is right, they feel like they have to apologize for it. Right. And it's like, why are we apologizing for doing what we think is right? Right. And it's that making waves and that people pleasing and that, like, I don't want to offend anyone. Right. But at the same time, we're hurting our souls. Yes. Right? Every time that we don't say, we don't claim our seat. Right. We're hurting our souls, and so I just think it's awesome. And we're going to talk later. So just tell them, where can they find your stuff? So first tell them about your photography, because if you guys are looking for a photographer, she's super special. And then from there, where they can follow you for your live videos that you get doing on Friday.
Absolutely. So for my photography, Instagram or Facebook, it's just BABEL photos, Babel photos. That's my dog's name. There's kind of a cute meaning and symbol behind all of that you can find on my website. My website's babelphotos.org. And if you want to watch videos, you can add me as a friend on Facebook. I'm KAY space La, Kayla, Suzanne. I had to make it a little bit funky just because I'm in education. But Auntie Katie's obviously Facebook friends with me too. But I feel like everything you are saying is directly related to your cause and your mission here. I know that this is not like compliment hour, but I really do feel I do feel inspired by what you do every morning. And I think it's a pretty great movement and you have such a positive community. So
they are awesome.
Yes, it
guys are
seems
great.
like it. It seems like it. So that's really great, and it makes me happy to see that.
Oh, awesome. All right. Well, Kayla, I love you. And thank you again for getting up and being ready at 6:30 in the morning, 6:15. We were practicing at 6:15. All right. I love you. Mwah. So I'm going to put that in the notes where to find you. And
Yeah.
what's the name of the book again? Because I'm going to put that in there.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll type it all in the chat right now. So the book is called White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. And I will put my social media here. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to text me, and I'll put my Facebook name too.
Right. And for all of you moms out there of your children who are, my kids are 20, 22, and 24-ish. They're in there somewhere. Right? Like that would be a great thing to have your kids have a follow of her, because she's an inspiration, and again, as I say, she's got an old soul, but she's got like a way to connect, like a mad way of connection with people, with our young adults. So I love you, Kayla. I'll talk to you soon.
I love you more. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.